welcome back to Wrestling with the Future. We have an amazing guest tonight. I'm your host, Psychic Medium Angelo, joined as always by the guru who knew, the Encyclopedia Britannica of pro wrestling, Jeff the Ref Robinson. Jeff, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing tonight, Angelo?
I'm wonderful, Jeff. There's a very pretty lady joining us tonight. Have you noticed that?
Oh, well, I would love to introduce her. She is the one, the only, the perfect 10, the very lovely Miss Nickla Roberts herself, the one and only Baby Doll. How are you doing tonight?
Very well, thank you.
All right. It is a pleasure to have you coming on here tonight. And as I was saying before we took to the air, huge fan of yours from back in the Crockett days. You were probably part of my very early fandom. I started watching it in 1985. And to say that I know your career would probably, I mean, I watched you on the Old World Class when you were on Andrea the Lady Giant coming in with Gino Hernandez.
Oh, yeah.
I cried the day that you turned on Dusty. I thought that my world had been ended, and you know, my little 9-year-old heart was about to just erupt into 1,000 pieces because my baby doll had just turned on all of us, and I couldn't believe it. And I mean, we're going to touch on a lot of these stories tonight, but I mean, that's just, let me put you over really quick if I can. You know what I mean? So,
like you need to put her over.
I mean, I just want you to thank you so much for the memories. You know what I mean? That, you know, and I will say this, it says a lot about her that fans still remember this lady 40 years later.
Well, let's be honest about it. Nickla Roberts was a trailblazer and a trendsetter, and created a model for females in the business that we still see today. You know, when you're talking about, see, I always referred to Nickla as the original glamazon. You know, the big, beautiful woman.
Oh yeah.
You know, Nickla, you know, Jeff mentioned, you know, Andrea the Giant. And there's always been some speculation whether that was a tribute to Andre or a rib on him. So fill me in. What was the deal?
I never thought it was a rib. I thought it was kind of disrespectful in a way because, I mean, there was no one else but Andre. And then to kind of take a gimmick girl situation was just, I didn't like it. And if you notice, I very seldom called myself Andrea. I called myself Nickla as much as I could. And so yeah. Much rather, because Nickla's very unique, you know, and especially like being big and strong. And there wasn't another Nickla, but there was another Andre. So they could have gone a different way, I think, with that. But
yeah.
And it was a short little gig, and it was from like Labor Day to Christmas Day in '84. So that's what, September, October, November, like 3 months, 4 months, you know.
Sure.
And got over, and I learned a lot because I worked a lot with Jake and with Chris. Dino was rather standoffish, but I learned so much during that time. I worked with like the best heels ever. So, and it was just some of those long road trips to just sit back and listen, and especially with Jake.
Yeah.
You know, I was very fortunate. I was always seemed to be at the right place at the right time.
You know, timing is everything. You know, and your timing in this business couldn't have been more perfect. I want people to know that Nickla Roberts' career began at birth, really. I mean, when you have, you know, Lorraine Johnson as your mom and Nick Roberts as your father, you pretty much don't even have a choice. You know, I know you had aspirations to be a nurse and work in the medical profession, and I know that you actually did go to school for nursing.
Well, it was actually for EMT. I actually go up to Colorado and do ski patrol. And that part of the journey of that was that you're EMT to a paramedic, and then you actually got hired on at a ski resort as like their ski patrol and rescue people, and that was one of the career aspirations I had. But I heard about the deal with Gino, and made the phone call and just gave them the right idea at the right time, and they liked it.
Nickla, it's kind of true that everybody, all the females, I should say, they all had a crush on Gino. They all wanted to get with him. Were you one of those like Gino groupies?
Oh, I wouldn't say group. I would not say group. Huge crush on him, but that was, I mean, he was a lot older than I was. And then he worked with my dad, and there was no way that someone like myself, you know what I'm saying? Gina was with girls like Sarah Fawcett, Nickla Roberts, even though she had like the schoolgirl crush, never had a chance. I knew I never had a chance.
Are you trying to tell me that you didn't compare to Farrah Fawcett?
I would beg to differ on that one, but still,
I was young. I was like 22, 21, 22 maybe, and you know, Farrah's got money and she's a Hollywood celebrity, and I was a promoter's daughter from Lubbock, Texas, and it was just all
fair enough.
I didn't have much to offer, so. But then she didn't have this 8-year-old girlfriend at the time.
Nickla, I would like to ask you to do me a big favor and lower your camera just a little bit. I want to see more of your face. There you go. Perfect. There you go. That's beautiful. Go ahead, Jeff.
Okay. I was actually going to ask you, when you were with Gino, you said he was kind of standoffish, but you learned so much from him. Now, I heard you tell a tale that I would like to hear you tell on here, that you really were not even smartened up to the business until the first day you came into World Class.
Oh, yeah, that is actually the gospel truth. Back in the day, they say that was gospel. There was nothing else that was more sacred in the business than they say. Once you were smartened up, you start no one else up. Even if you wanted to, it was just you just didn't do it. It was a privilege to be a part of the cafe. And my parents, whenever they would be talking business, and my brother and I would come through the room, or they'd be talking to someone, they'd say kayfabe, and it was just the conversation would take a complete 180. And we always wondered who kayfabe was. We thought it was a little kid, and we wanted to go play with kayfabe. But it wasn't until my dressing room in it was in San Antonio, the Del Rio Coliseum, that it was Mike Von Erich, Gino, I think, maybe Gary Hart, just the bookers and the wrestlers, and myself, came to the finish, and I had to be like in 7 different spots, you know, where it was just critical I was there at the right place at the right time and did the right thing. And when they were leaving, they said, "Do you have it? Do you know what you need to do?" And I was like, "Yeah." I stand up tall and look at the back. Whenever they left, I had no idea. It was like, oh my God, that's how they did it. And that is how I touched that piece.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we heard that particularly around, you know, in the Dallas booking office, you know, we talked about on the show before, talked about Gary Hart. We talked about a lot about Fritz and his, you know, shortcomings and or genius, depending on how you look at it. But kayfabe, particularly down south, was really, really enforced. Was there ever any punishment for breaking kayfabe? Were you guys ever reprimanded?
I have no idea. That part of it, I was very fortunate to be like a girl, because I was kind of off to myself. I don't know if there was any reprimand, but I'm sure that you were like pulled to the side by one of the older guys and told that's not how we do it.
Yeah.
But by the time you actually were smartened up, you knew. It was like mafia.
Yeah.
Because you just know that you didn't break the code, otherwise there was consequences. It was kind of unfair.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Now I was going to ask you. Now you had it was a short run that you had there in Texas. Did you have any interactions with the Von Erich brothers at all? I mean, that's any.
From the time whenever I was like 17, if I remember right, I was like picking him up at the airport or picking him up at the hotel, taking him to them. I might have been like a high school, a senior in high school, whenever we really started going to the gym series, because Terry actually showed me how to throw the discus better, and I broke my school record whenever I was a senior in high school for discus. And then we went to the gym all the time, and one of my favorite things to do is play racquetball. I love to play racquetball. Well, they try and play me because I practiced all the time. I was pretty good at it. And even to this day, Kevin Von Erich couldn't get over that I beat them all the time. So that was fun.
Now, when you were down there in world class, and maybe even for your dad, did you ever have any interactions with Ric Flair when he was touring as the NWA World Champ prior to Crockett?
I picked him up. That was kind of one of the really cool perks of my dad promoting, was like the guys would fly in and someone would have to go to the airport with muffled. I would have already been in the ticket office like all day, so it was a nice break for me to get out and run to the airport, go get him and bring him back. And Dad knew that that's all I would do, just like go to the airport and come back and do better. So I got to pick up like Andre a couple of times, picked up Flair several times, Blackjack Mulligan, whoever was flying in, I got to go pick up. Now, the Von Erichs were silly because if you didn't pick them up on time, if you were late, they would get to the bar, and then it would be like an hour or two before you could get them out of the bar to the show.
Yeah.
So absolutely positively, when you the people tried to be there and like lead them to the cars and let them go to the car.
Nickla, who taught you the most in your time in the Texas territories? Because there was a time, I'm guessing it was about a 2 or 3 year run in Texas, somewhere around there. But 4 years.
You only have about 5 months of world class.
Oh, 5 months. Okay, but you worked. I don't know for sure, but you did work for your dad for a while?
Well, so my dad had a promotion from like 1962 to probably 1984, 85, something like that.
Right.
We ran every Wednesday night at Fair Park, and I grew up, like watching the promotion. I'd sell tickets. I'd sell programs. See people, because we had like a sign seat for ringside. General admission was like either like our spot show, it was a fourth row back.
Right.
We had like really cool booster section up at Fair Park. But my brother and I, we did everything from the time that we could count and pick up chairs. We went to work. That was part of being a part.
Yeah. Of and that's how you made your dues. You paid your way through that way, working it. And was there one person who really kind of took to you and said, try something this way or try something perhaps this way?
The one person I learned the most from was probably Jake. Jake actually held the door open for me going into the TV studio. Friday morning, and we were doing promos, and then we did the Sportatorium that night, and then Saturday was like San Antonio, like one of the big towns, and Monday was Fort Worth. So Friday morning, Jake actually opened up the door for the TV studio company, and we went in and we did promos, but
right.
Just from him because he had been in the business long enough where he knew a lot, and then we just took together, we just clicked like he liked talking about different stuff and having someone like actually listen to him, and that was, I learned a lot from Jake during that time. I really
Wow.
did. And so, you know, Chris Adams, they were in there, and I listened a lot to Bronco Leavitt, and also just with the minorities, they were my friends too. They helped me a lot. So a lot of the guys, it was a real cool situation.
Yeah. Well, now, Nickla, I know Jeff has a couple questions for you regarding wrestling at the Sportatorium. Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, actually, yeah. How hot would that crowd get compared to, we'll just say, maybe the Spartanburg Arena and for Crockett? I mean, how hot was that Sportatorium as far as the crowd?
Well, there was no other place like the Sportatorium. I mean, the building was just, it was perfect for wrestling. It was kind of like one of those buildings that you pull up to.
Can't hear. God, no, I can't hear nothing.
Yeah.
Can you hear her?
No, I can't hear.
Nickla, we can't hear you, dear.
Can't hear it all.
Can you hear? We can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Yeah. Can't hear.
We're experiencing technical difficulties.
Yeah.
May have to have her call in.
Well, hold on. Let's give Nickla a chance to.
Oh.
There you go. There you go.
The thing flashed up and it said microphone muted, and I hit it, and then it did this, so it's working.
Okay. I mean, now we can hear you crystal clear. I love the glasses I play.
I know, right? I can't.
Yeah, we were starting to panic. Go ahead, Jeff.
It's set up. Sorry.
Well, I'll get back because we missed it totally. I hate to have you repeat yourself, but I missed it totally what you had said about the Sportatorium there, and just the atmosphere of it.
Well, I heard that Nickla said, and I'll just recap for everybody watching the show. It was a perfect building for wrestling. No other place like it, and we've heard that. We heard that the Sportatorium was actually built for wrestling.
I can believe that. I don't know for sure, but that makes sense. It was like Fair Park was like that where my dad's show was, because it had, like the cement bleachers. It had like 3 sides of bleachers. You had the whole open back area where, like, if the guys wanted to just get up and brawl, you could like brawl all the way to the back.
Yeah.
It had separate heel and babyface dressing rooms. It was just perfect. So between Fair Park and the Sportatorium, it was perfect.
There was, it's been speculated, and you would probably know better than anybody since you were there. We were told, and I don't know how true it is, so I'm going to let you answer this. We were told that the ring at the Sportatorium was actually cemented in place. Is that true?
I'm not sure. That makes sense. Either cemented in or bolted to the floor.
Wow. Yeah, we heard that. Was that true, Jeff?